Mic check, mic check. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Hip Hop Snapshots. I'm your host, Ross Martinez. And last episode, we talked about how hip hop is not a monolith, it's a beautiful culture with many different languages. So today, we're going to start a long journey, one style at a time, walking through the many different languages of hip hop music, different branches of the same tree. Not to rank them, definitely not to argue taste, but to understand why they exist, how they came about, and individuals who speak the language better than anybody else. So we're going to begin where hip hop learned what its heartbeat was: boom bap hip hop. So without further ado, grab that milk crate, take a seat. It's time to talk hip hop history. Boom bap is quite literally an onomatopoeia. Let's explain. Back in 1984, Tila Rock said the term boom bap on his record It's Yours, produced by Rick Rubin. Boom being the kick, bap being the snare. Hip hop named itself by the sound of its own heartbeat. And that matters because boom bap isn't about melody first, it's about definition. Early hip hop beats were looped completely. You would grab a break, let it ride, and flip the album right back over, bounce between two records. Then another icon in hip hop, Marley Marl, changed the game completely. Instead of looping entire drum breaks, he started chopping individual drum hits, lifting a kick from one record, a snare from another, rebuilding rhythm from scratch. And that is the real birth of boom bap hip hop. Architecture at its finest. The technique created a few things: harder drums, cleaner patterns, and intentional spacing. And that spacing was everything early on in hip hop. By the late 80s, MCs weren't just rocking parties anymore, they were storytelling, battling, documenting life, and teaching philosophy. Boom bap stripped the beat down so the pen could breathe and speak. And that's why Golden Era records sound the way they do: sharp kicks, cracking snares, dusty jazz, funk, and soul samples, and intentional vinyl cracks on the record. The beat wasn't the star anymore, the voice was. Boom bap survived because artists spoke it fluidly. When you think pure boom bap, quote unquote, you think Gangstar, Guru, and DJ Premier. DJ Premier Primo being the grandfather of boom bap hip hop on the East Coast. Primo's drums were minimum and militant. Guru's delivery was calm, direct, and instructional. No filler, no rush, just beautiful heartbeat. Then you had one of my all-time favorites, A Tribe Called Quest, proving boom bap didn't have to be aggressive to be sharp. It was more jazz-infused beats, conversational flows, boom bap with warmth and intellect. When the sound turned raw and cinematic, enter one, Wu-Tang Clan. They took over and created a whole new stilo with boom bap. With members like Jizza and Raekwon, boom bap became literature and gritty and philosophical and very unapologetic. Some artists use boom bap like a camera. Nas, especially on Illmatic and It Was Written, used sparse drums and jazz loops to document Queensbridge in real time. Mobb Deep pushed it even deeper and darker, and cold snares and eerie samples, and boom bap became more paranoia and survival. And then you have KRS-One through Boogie Down Productions, turned boom bap into education, bars as lectures and drums as punctuation on the metaphors. Boom bap, it lives and dies with its producers. Alongside DJ Premier and Pete Rock, you also had craftsmen like Buck Wild and Diamond D. They didn't clean the sound up, they let it breathe more, because boom bap isn't about perfection, it's about feeling, the onomatopoeia. In 1993, KRS-One dropped the song Return of the Boom Bap. And that was hip hop becoming self-aware. Boom bap had become the dominant dialect, the measuring stick by many regarded as, and the sound people meant when they said real hip hop. Not because it was better, but because it was clear. Here's the uncomfortable truth about it, though. Boom bap worked too well. It became doctrine, then dogma. Somewhere along the way, people confuse foundation with ownership. Boom Bap built the house, but that doesn't mean nobody else gets to add rooms and redecorate from time to time. That's not the sound's fault, that's ours. Boom Bap didn't disappear either throughout the eras. It did go underground for a little bit. You heard it, you can hear it now in today's artists like Griselda, West Side Gun, Conway, Benny the Butcher. They have this raw, minimalist, nostalgic aspect to a lot of their beats. Or Joey Badass, he has the ethos of boom bap from the 90s. And artists that aren't boxed in as boom bap acts like a Freddie Gibbs or a J. Cole or Schoolboy Q, they still tap into it in their structure and bars from time to time. And producers like Kenny Beats borrows boom bap principles, the restraint, knock, and space, and that's the influence of the foundation of hip hop. You could feel it in the music. Boom bap isn't the entire culture of hip hop, but without it, hip hop doesn't learn how to speak so clearly. And that's what this series is about, understanding the languages, not arguing which one sounds best, but understanding why they're so important to the entire tree of hip hop. Mic check, mic check. That's another episode of Hip Hop Snapshots. I'm your host, Ross Martinez. Next episode, we're going to go out west and talk about G-Funk and why that is so important to the history of hip hop. We're going to do these slowly as they come out, just so you can listen to some of the artists and dig through crates, because that's how you get your knowledge up. One of the pillars of hip hop. So remember this. Until next episode, dig through crates, study a little bit, but above everything, be hip hop. I'm out. Peace.